Welcome along, everyone, to the British Grand Prix. Then, of course, we are at the heart of the calendar now for ALR, and I must say, it is becoming quite impressive for some drivers out there. Other drivers maybe probably must do better on their report cards, but we are also seeing the shape of the championships from gold, silver, and bronze really starting to take effect now as we have approached the halfway stage for silver and for gold. Then, and tonight we also have the halfway stage for bronze as well. Yes, Mercedes last night a 1-2. I think that's the first 1-2 of the season. We did have a 1-2 earlier on. Was it in gold or bronze? I can't remember now. But of course, I think then there was a penalty for one of the Ferraris. I'm sure that knocked him down. But a great year, a great week as well for the Mercedes team, getting a 1-2 last night as well. Of course, depending on penalties and all that jazz. And of course, the gold champion, the gold side has only finally just gone through after there was an appeal between I think it was Toy Coin and I think it was German getting a bit fisticuffy as well, which we love, to be fair. Of course, a bit of needle against the driver, a bit of needle with the drivers. It's fantastic in my opinion. Happy 95th Grand Prix start tonight for Vintage. Of course, the most starts ever in bronze history. Fantastic stuff indeed. And welcome along to the stream as well. If my overlays are a bit skew, please ignore, as we're in a rush. I have knocked me overlays slightly, so let's just hope for the best that it's all fine and dandy. So Jenner is starting us off now. Whilst Jenner is starting us off, let's go through the drivers and the constructors as well. Hello to you, Kiki. Of course, Kiki finished second last night. Best result of his career so far in silver, I believe, potentially. I think anyway. Also a beast, another Grand Prix win now, and is really starting to extend his lead in the silver championship. What happened in gold? I can't remember what happened in gold. Oh my gosh! And I thought that was going to be an airplane crash there. Jenner got got a good result last time out, and Jenner does not want a 5-place grid penalty to really hurt his starting position here tonight. So that's very much going to wake me up, and that's certainly probably woken Jenner up as well, who is on the medium tyres. Everyone else out there on the soft tyres as Jenner flicks through Cop's corner, which has been widened over the years as well. Hello to you, Kiki. Let's go Mushroom. Thank you very much to Ultimate Beast, who's been a member in the Jensen tier for a month now. Thank you very much, Ultimate Beast, who is very much on an incredible run of form in the Silver Championship, as we mentioned. Vintage, not only is a 95 Grand Prix starter in a bronze, but he is also a 7-monther in the Jensen tier as well. Thank you very much, Lego Bronze, and for Nolsey, as Vintage also gives some membership to Kiki as well. Jenner then out to the final turn, and that car looking a bit unsteady on the rear, which might be a bit worrying for Jenner. Then Craigar goes fastest. I think Craigar was on the podium, but unfortunately got knocked off the podium, didn't he? Or something like that. To be honest, I need to probably review what happened last week. There's a Marsky going second fastest, currently down into third in the championship at the moment. Now, talking about Ultimate Beast on the roll, I think we cannot forget to mention the man who's very much in a rich run of form at, and that's Kian, who is on 3 Grand Prix win in a row in bronze, and that's almost unheard of over the years in bronze. We did have a bit of a winning mentality in silver back in season 2, of course, with that all-conquering Haas team with Liam Ye and German eventually went on to become champion. But my goodness gracious me, then Kian is starting to really make bronze his own here, isn't he? Real Ashton in 5th position, and Vintage started at their lap now. Dynamo Dan coming down the hangar straight, and we've got some yellow flags. We ignore the yellow flags in qualifying more often than not because normally it's drivers get out of the way. So we got Astra John, who's just completed this up in the Mercedes car and going third fastest there. Astra John has been one of the great additions to bronze, and I don't think they're in the car permanently just yet, but we do have a new driver who is on the grid now permanently for the time on the grid now, replacing Moomin, unfortunately, is Albi, who's I think first opening couple of races, he hasn't scored, but Albi has been incredible since joining the grid as well. So Kick Sauber hopefully can kick on, pun intended, and get some more points. But hello to Albi, of course, making his 4th or 5th Grand Prix start tonight. Vintage just going on to Chapel now, down the back straight. You got Serious Mushroom also out on circuit somewhere as well. Hello to Sarah, good luck, all wishing I was racing. See you next week, of course. I think that we got Anthony and Slayer on holiday. I don't think they're on holiday together, even though they both said that they was on holiday almost at the same time then, which gave me a bit of suspicion. But I think they're both on different holidays there. But as Vintage goes down fast at the moment, and Serious Mushroom jumps up into third, then a whisker away from Vintage, maybe seeing a bit of cheeky little slipstream now from Serious Mushroom. Now here comes Styles, who is matching his teammate with the tire compound out there, or the medium compound. Let me quickly get back to the comments because I'm slacking. That's Britain for you. Hello and good luck this afternoon for Don. Don's happy to get some great points last time out. Good luck, Swanee and Astra. Of course, yes, thank you very much, Sarah. That reminds me of that absolutely chaotic end to the Austrian Grand Prix. I've never seen anything like it. Craig goes faster still on 3 runs on those soft tyres, and so Craig hopefully won't be needing those soft tyres in the race. And I must say, if he needs those soft tyres in the raceway, we've had a crazy Grand Prix to say the least. But talking of crazy, what an incredible end to the bronze race last week. Then, if you haven't seen the action after the safety car came in, goodness gracious me, make sure you don't watch it before going to bed, because you'll be so excited that you'll be buzzing for hours. Out of final turn for Styles, who's been incredible this season for 8 fastest, while they made contact with the eventual winner Kian last week, but almost costly Kian the Grand Prix win. Here comes Smithy, who inherited for a position he mentioned in the podium celebrations last week, that he kind of inherited. But of course, as Murray Walker used to say on one of the old F1 games, you'd rather be lucky than good. And Smithy, of course, a Grand Prix winner as well. So you don't a 3-time Grand Prix as well. You can't get lucky 3 times, or can you get lucky 3 times? I don't know. Nolte, no. No, we don't. No, we don't love it, Sean. Goodness me. Obviously not a fan of the old bit of banter. I love it. Goodness me. But of course, in all seriousness, there is an appeal. Of course, like in tennis, I think you get 3 appeals, don't you? Where you could review if an outcall and all that kind of stuff. And I think that there is a review going on as well. But I think the final classifications have been decided, which is all good stuff indeed. Smithy Almighty much better this weekend, or this week I should say, going 5th fastest. Rocket League going for 3 pole positions in a row, I believe. I haven't got my stat book up. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little kerfuffled at the moment, since I've only just kind of got back from work. Kian then coming out of Cops Corner. My fault, to be honest, because I decided to grab a cupcake and miss the bus. There you go. I always knew that my hunger would cause some kind of pain, and today was that day. So I went back in there and got 2 cupcakes as well for my troubles. Good stuff. But unfortunately, that's not going to help me on diet. There is it there. But luckily, winter's coming, so I don't need to worry about my summer body now. Here comes Kian, who, as Ashton now has come into the pits, and I think he's retired from this Grand Prix, I think. Here is the man of the moment, though. It is the Ferrari driver. It is a 4-time Grand Prix winner this season, and it is Kian going for 4 Grand Prix wins in a row as well. 3rd fast at the moment for the Ferrari driver. He is 2nd in the championship now, and he's got his sights set on the man who's in the championship at the moment. It's not Jenner, who's currently gone fast at the moment. The man who's in the championship at the moment is Dan, who hasn't set a time yet. Swan Shanks and Don of the Dons also out in this session as well. Energy Rocket, and oh my goodness me, it's gonna rain. Sarah said, how does Slayer know that? Unless it's raining in a different country of where Slayer is. Good stuff indeed. Then Stephen Ed, sorry not to be there. Wishing all the drivers a good race today, and Jake is not here. Don't worry. As we're just coming down into Brooklands, which of course Brooklands, ironically, was the incident between between Toycoin and German, and it was also the incident which also that was the place where I ended my race last week as well, which still hurts. And I must say, I'm still a little sore as well. But there we go. That's just the way it is. And unfortunately, tomorrow night, hopefully, Serious Mushroom has nailed the setup. Otherwise, I'm in major trouble anyway. Because unfortunately for Hungary, there's no hiding place really, is there? If you're rubbish on the game, you're going to really show up in Hungary, aren't you? Technical, twisty, dusty circuit. Nowhere to hide. Barriers are close. Goodness gracious me, I'm having nightmares already. So yeah. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of rage from the Ginger Rage tomorrow, but luckily you don't have to hear it. We're just anyway. Where am I? Same holidays. Sarah said joke there. I wish I was there, Stephen. As we've also got Ashton that said, heavy rain causing wet track, wet setup. Most of us should be used to this weather. Then, so is that rain in the race? Then is that what Ashton is telling me there? Oh my word! Then, and I believe it or not. Did it rain last night? I can't remember, to be honest. I was watching a bit at the end of the stream now. To be honest, I was more horrified that Sirius Mushroom actually voted for Farf for Driver of the Day, to be fair. That's shocking behaviour. Because, to be honest, Farf is also Skyping his admin duties tonight then, as it's actually Smithy Almighty that's hosted. However, I almost broke the curfew as well. Of course, there's a rule to get into the lobby. Swanshanks is 13 fastest. There's a rule to get into the lobby. About 5 minutes before the start of the race. Then, well, unfortunately, I think I just about made it then. But to be fair, I did switch my PlayStation on about 22 minutes past. But then I realised that me stream thing wasn't working. Don the Don's going 15th fast out of the 18 is qualified so far. There's a lot of qualifiers out there tonight, which is really good stuff indeed. I love it. Where am I? Stephen, hey Jake, Big Al, good evening, and will Jinner win today? Well, I'm not going to bet against Jinner because Jinner is a fine customer indeed, a former champion in this championship as well, in bronze back in season 5 or 6. I can't remember. I'm getting old, but and remember, Jinner's fine form came towards the latter end of the season. I remember Dynamo Dan was leading that championship for about half the time, probably over more than half the time. But it was Jinner's absolute relentless pace that got him back in that championship, that won him the championship. And I think that Dan can't rest on his laurels, not by any stretch of imagination, especially with Kian on 3 Grand Prix wins in a row now. It's completely changed on his head, this championship has in bronze there. Anything can happen, and it usually does. Excited to see what happens today, watching the chaos from the outside. Then Sarah said, of course, Sarah was a big beneficial of the chaos last week and got a second position. Somehow, I can't even remember where Slayer was before all the penalties was dished out. But I'm sure that Sarah said he was outside the top 10. Yellow flags is blinking at the top there of the screen then. Goodness gracious me. It's making me blink as well. Got a wet setup on Ashton and saying, ooh, interesting stuff there. So Ashton then is very much believing the weather. And why wouldn't you? Because, of course, here in Northamptonshire, it's normally more wet than dry. And I had an absolute deluge when I came home as well. As Dan 5th fast on there, look at that, 300ths of a second away from his championship rival. Jinner across the line now. His second fast about just over a 10th of a second away from Rocket Lee, who's also going for 3 in a row. Kian achieved 3 in a row last week in terms of wins there. Rocket Lee's going for 3 in a row in terms of pole positions here tonight. Fantastic indeed. Marsky Owens, Sarah said, rooting for my Aston Martin team members are Luke and Casey. Of course, Casey Jenner, who Jenner? Oh gosh, Casey Jenner then is currently 13th at the moment there in the second Aston Martin. So good stuff indeed there. Of course, Jenner is starting to become a very safe pair of hands in ALR. Great to see him, hopefully great to see him on the grid full time in the not too distant future. Even to you, Sirius Mushroom there, as we've also got, yes, a very wet condition parts of the race set. Oh my word, I like a wet track, I like a wet race, but you know what I like more? A wet race that turns into dry. Was it here? I think was it Silver? I can't remember now. Yeah, it was Sick as Muck hunting down, or was it was Jinner hunting down Sick as Muck, I think, wasn't it, a couple of seasons ago, in what was a barnstorming event to a Grand Prix, and I can't remember if it was bronze. I think it was bronze as well, wasn't it? Incredible stuff. Now I think it was actually the season where Jinner won the championship as well. And I finally caught up to the comments. Fantastic stuff indeed there. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. The final turn there for Jinner. He's going to give himself a pat on the back. He is indeed. He's the first driver into the 26-7 as Sirius Merchant jumps up to 7th position in that Williams car as well. But is Jinner counting on pole position and is spoiling this man's party at the front then. Party on pole for Rocket Lee as someone just jumped up the order as well. I think that was Vintage, who's just got into 16 fastest in the Red Bull Racing car. Of course, big news today in Formula 1 actually is, of course, Aston, probably the worst kept secret in the paddock, and Formula 1 has a lot lot of really bad secrets, don't they? To be fair, a lot of things always get leaked before anything really happens there, apart from the Hamilton Ferrari thing, which came out of the blue. But of course, Adrian Newey, now a part of Aston Martin, and of course, one man does not make a team, but Adrian Newey with his absolute, as Rocket Lee, I think, is a bit frustrated there. Don the Don's out of qualifying there. Sorry, apologies. Duncan Dave, who has scored actually up until this point. I think that Duncan Dave has actually scored about probably about 45% of McLaren's points in the joint constructors. Rocket League frustrated with that, as we've just got Craig R about to wind it up and let him go. Serious Mushroom is crawling, as is Smithy Almighty as well. Then, so we've got a lot of drivers in there that are not really doing much at the moment out there. And I think Albie has also, it looks like that he's crawling as well. Albie is trying to get some space in. So Jitter's not going to be out for the final part, and nor is Rocket League either. So Rocket League's going for 3 pole positions in a row has ended, unfortunately. But what about Craig R coming through the loop as well, accelerated away on the back straight, and Craig R is the only driver on a fast lap at the moment as far as I can tell, and down the Wellington straight then, 63 hundredths of a second there, as worst kept secret almost up there with Kimi Antonelli. And did we speak about Kimi Antonelli? I can't remember, to be honest, but that's an exciting appointment, isn't it? Unfortunately, he did crash after 2 laps, but of course there was a lot of buzz around Kimi Antonelli. Remember, he's only 18 years old. I must say, what was I doing when I was 18? Not a lot, to be honest. I was probably sat on my rear posterior eating sausage rolls. Not much has changed, to be honest. But only thing that has changed, I got a better couch or settee, depending on where you are in the world. Craig R coming down the hangar straight now. It's gone purple in the second split time there, but it doesn't look like they're using too much battery. Craig R is going into Stoke Corner. Of course, used to be a bit more tighter back in the day. It feels tighter back in the day, doesn't it? Back on the old games. And checker flag is fluttering in the breeze here in Silverstone. Out of the final turn for Craig R. Across the line, third fastest, finds a tenth of a second. Nothing more is in that Red Bull today, but it's on the second row of the grid. So I think that would be quite handy. I'm looking for a Mercedes, and I think it's Swanshanks, but Swanshanks is unfortunately validated at time, and Swanshanks will stay 15th. What about Astra John? We spoke about Astra John, but unfortunately he's off to Wilkinshire there. Is it Wilkinshire? No, that's a shaver figure, isn't it? Wilkinson Sword. He's off to Wiltshire. Is Wiltshire a place? I don't know. To be honest, I should really, because it's not like I live here or nothing, is it? What about that Ferrari? What about Kian? Kian, the man who's on pole position there for Kian. He snatched it at the very end, and Kian, who I think has not been on pole position, or has he? Because I was wrong. I was actually wrong about Grumman as well, and said that Kian is on pole position for potentially the first time in his career. Don the Don's flicking into the final turn. Sick as Monk then, of course, doesn't look like he's been at the races so far. He's got to find 4/10 of a second to get into the top 10. He doesn't find, finds a 10th of a second, but nothing more than that. Dynamo down all the way down the order, stays 14th there. That's a bit of a shame there for the Alpine car. Don the Don stays 17th as well there, and that's qualifying done and dusting. Kian on pole position for the first time in his career, and Ferrari and Kian are going to be overjoyed with this result. 3 Grand Prix wins in a row, now a first pole position here at the home of motorsport. Well, fantastic for the Ferrari team, fantastic for Kian as well, magnificent stuff indeed. And who can bet against the man in form at the moment? I certainly wouldn't, because, well, I'm not a better man, but if I was, I would be putting all my money on red. The red Ferrari, which is Kian at the moment, his first pole position of his career in bronze as well. I had to make sure that's right, because that didn't feel right. But yes, Kian on pole position for the first time in the Ferrari. Good stuff indeed then. Yeah, Antonelli, got to say, it's going to be a lot of pressure, but don't you feel like it's a shootout between Antonelli and George Russell for that seat for 2026, depending if Max Verstappen goes to Mercedes now? That's an interesting one, isn't it? Not as interesting in what today's going to be in bronze, though. Kian pole position for the first time in his career. Alongside him is Ginner on row 1. That is spicy, isn't it? Rocket Lee had 2 pole positions in a row. Unfortunately, couldn't make it a hat-trick. Craig R in 4th position, right in there. Dan is in 5th position. The championship gap is down to 31 points. I go into this Grand Prix. Marsky, Sirius Mushroom, Janet, Smithy Almighty. And Luke completes the top 10. Wasted battery bottled it. Much for saying then. Casey's decent in the wet. Then I think Marv will do excellent as well. Can I? Oh gosh, there it is raining cats and dogs. Said I can live with New Year Aston Martin as long as it's not Ferrari. Big Al is saying then. Thought I had it. Good lap, key, and it says Ginner as well. To be honest, yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I would like to have seen Hamilton in a Adrian Newey car, but I gotta say, having Fernando Alonso drive an Adrian Newey car would be amazing. Let's hope it goes well though, because of course it's kind of Fernando Alonso's last chance at glory, isn't it? And wouldn't it be great to see him get a free for a championship? I think it's very unlikely, to be honest, then, but anything can happen in Formula One. It usually does, doesn't it? Remember that that incredible season in 2009. Then at the beginning of that season, I would have not even have remotely thought that Jenson Button was going to win that season, and look what happened there. So anything can happen in Grand Prix racing then. And remember, Red Bull, of course, won in 2010 as well, which, to be honest, now it seems silly, but that was our first championship win as well. And Sebastian Vettel only won that championship, only led that championship at the very end there. There's the rain, says Slayer, and absolutely right. It's not just rain, it is bucking it down there. And let's go for the grid show from front to back, from pole position to the back of the grid. Real Ashton was right. He was right. And not only that, he was spot on, and there's not more than spots coming from the sky at the moment there. And who would be on that Ferris wheel in these conditions is beyond me. Good evening, Sir Sean. Good evening, Scooby Stew. Welcome to the stream, Scooby Stew. I'm sure it's Scooby Stew's birthday the other day as well. Happy birthday, Scooby Stew. Kian, first pole position of his career, going for 4 wins in a row. Only 31 points now behind Dan, who had quite a commanding lead. Jinnen starts to need to score points out. It's round 12 out of 24, this one is. Rocket Lee in third position for the first time in 2 races, not on pole position. Look at the spray, it's appalling. You can't see through the spray. I think the drivers are going to be earning their money tonight. I don't think they do earn money, but if they did, they're going to certainly be... earning it. Craig R in 4th position. Dan Dunn in 5th, the championship leader. He's very much in the carbon fibre zone. Marsky in 6th, dropped down to 3rd after last week's result. Sirius Mushroom in 7th position. And I had no clutch on the start. Is it turned off? Sirius Mushroom is asking. Oh, no. That's not ideal. Jenna in 8th position. And you heard Slayer mention about Jenna's wet wear prowess. The same with Marsky as well. Smithy Almighty in 9th position. Luke in 10th. And, of course, one of the driver changes over the last couple of weeks as well. Sickers Mark in 11th. 12th is Hungry Styles, had a struggling on the formation lap here. I think Alan Prost spun on the formation lap in Imola, or was it Nigel Mansell? I can't remember. Back in 91 or 1990? It's won the Ferrari shirt. Astra John in 13th position. Dynamo Daniel out position in 14th. Swan Shanks in 15th. Vintage Happy 95th in 16th. 17th position is Donna the Dons. 18th is Real Ashton. LB in his first full appearance in ALR. 4 good races so far for LB. What about his 4-time start then? And Duncan Davo, great brilliant performance for the McLaren team last week. Getting 5th. Right here, right now. Let's get going then for the start of this one. Thank you, dude. Yes, to us. Now in the 40th club is Scooby Stew. Goodness gracious me, 4 decades old. Why word, Scooby? Right, good drive-through penalty for the 2 front runners. And everyone else there has gone away now. But that's a major gaffe in terms of the front 2. And they're going to have to do a drive-through penalty for the first 3 laps. What is happening? We can barely see through the spray. Has everyone gone away? There's 3 abreast. And there's an Aston Martin of Luke off the circuit. Debris has been flown up in the air as well. You can barely see the conditions are appalling out here. Surely we'll have to have a safety car because this is ridiculous out there. My word. And I gotta say, I'm almost as wet as I am in here at the moment now. But it's the Kian and Jinner, who have both been got drive-through penalties for jumping the star. That is not good at all. Craig R is now in the box. He's on the de facto leader. Marsky, as you heard Slayer mention that, Marsky is very good in the wet. Then Smithy Almighty is running Astro John out wide. Astro John's gone at 3 positions. Luke has had a terrible start then, but we've seen debris being flown up in the air, and I think it was from the Aston Martin front nose cone as well. So that's not ideal then, so we go into Cop's corner for the first time. What is happening in the background there? Vintage is at LB. LB now up into a 15th position. Good stuff. Swanshanks, goodness gracious me. And Swanshanks on the part of course we don't rent. As we go through Maggots, Baggots, and through into Chapel as well. Marsky all over the gearbox, and Marsky lost it's lost second position in the championship. He's down into third now. Marsky says so he needs to come back. There's a chance to come back into this race as well. Jennings up into second position. Dan, the championship leader, down 3 position. A terrible start for the championship leader. Down 3 positions as well. Who is that? That's one of the Aston Martins, I think. Maybe, I don't know, to be honest. It's absolutely horrific conditions out there. As just as Ashton said that, it is going to be horrifically bad out there. So they're both both the drive-through and both the drivers who got a jump start in the pits already. Craig R is now starting to struggle, and look at Cirrus Mushroom to third position as well, and Cirrus Mushroom all over the gearbox in the front 2 here tonight. Then Cirrus Mushroom then is looking quite strong as well. Remember in the Japanese Grand Prix in season 2 of Silver, Cirrus Mushroom took a Grand Prix win in conditions similar to this. Now I think that the conditions are actually better on that day than it is here tonight. Then horrific stuff indeed. Don the Dons is up in the 12th position now. So Jenna and Kian, I think that they both reacted to each other, because the front 2 reacted to each other. They both went there, and that is a major mistake there for Kian. Major mistake for Jenna as well. Dan and who is that? That's Astro John on the outside of Luffield. Has he got the grip? You have to have unique racing lines on conditions like this. They're more sometimes like the karting line. Dan on the inside then forces Astro John onto the curb over to the side. Not as much grip as there is on circuit. And into Cobb's corner, much so than what it would be in the dry here. And I'm wondering who has been practicing these kind of conditions in Silverstone. And of course, we do normally have wet races around here, don't we? But normally more often than not, the drivers normally just practice in the dry and just kind of use their experience, use their talent, use their absolute skill to the premium to navigate on days like this. Look at that spray! That it is absolutely been thrown up in the air. Into 6th position goes Astro John, passes Dan, and up into 6th position now. Dan has dropped down into 7th position at the moment. On board the championship leader. It's not looking good at the moment. Now, who is that then? And so we've got LB all over the gearbox of Don the Dons, who's in 12th and 13th position there. And look at those fast laps being counted down then. Of course, the track will be quicker and quicker every lap then, because the best way to dry a track is to have 20 Formula 1 cars going round in circles and hoovering up the spray and throwing it back where it came from into the sky. And that is what is happening here at the moment. Sigismund, remember we mentioned about the British Grand Prix a couple of seasons ago in bronze, that Sigismund could have and should have won that Grand Prix. He is a Grand Prix winner in this day in history. Can he become a double Grand Prix winner in this day in history? You wouldn't bet against Cirrus Mushroom at the moment there. Oh my goodness gracious me. Craig R still leads. Cirrus Mushroom has actually got up to second, and unbeknownst to us, look at that. That is appalling. And we're looking down, remember, as well. Our visibility is going to be a little easier than the drivers out there, but you can barely see Cirrus Mushroom and Marsky. Absolutely horrific stuff indeed, then, as these conditions are absolutely horrific out there. And I must say that... I'm surprised that they kept it all on track. Look at how much the top 5 I should say, is now starting to condense up. Astro John is about 3 seconds back at the moment. Slayer is loving. Oh, Marsky have initiated in Chapel there. Chapel is normally quite a straightforward corner, but tonight is certainly not going to be either. We do not know about the weather forecast or anything like that. Look at that, as the 2 RBs are now 3rd and 4th and looking very strong indeed. Rocket Lee has had the pace over the last 2 races to get some major points, but has unfortunately come to 0, and tonight could be the night then for Rocket Lee to really get himself back in the championship hunt. I do feel though that the more and more the races go on, then I think that it's going to be harder and harder for Rocket Lee, but he has the pace, but can he get the consistency? Serious Mission just gliding through turn 1 then. Of course, no DRS in these conditions then, as Jenna on the inside, trying to go up the inside as well, of course, with the Max Verstappen helmet, and that reminds us about the 2016 clinic of Grand Prix racing there for Max Verstappen. My goodness gracious me, you will never see a wet weather specialist in that 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix. Fantastic 17. However, that then brings me to Lewis Hamilton in 2008 as well. Of course, remember, one of the best races, in my opinion, I've ever seen a driver do. He lapped up till third place Rubens Barrichello on that day. Incredible 17th then. And then, of course, you have to zoom all the way back to 1996 in the Spanish Grand Prix, where Michael Schumacher in a very underperforming Ferrari was absolutely fantastic in that day as well, in conditions that in today's history would not run at all. But then again, we have got those kind of conditions here tonight, haven't we? Incredible 17. And then, of course, that's a very damp and wet Donington race, and the only race we've ever had in Donington, where 1993, where Ayrton Senna was dropped down to 5th on the opening lap, then danced his way back through, took the lead then, and I think he also got fastest out going through the pit lane as well. That's how unique that day was. And Jennett's on the outside here, trying to get on the inside of Rocket Lee. He will have the inside now. Rocket Lee, just coming across there, and Jennett has had to back out ever so slightly. Duncan Davis made his way up to 30 positions, up 7 positions so far for Duncan Davis, as he come through to complete lap 5 of this 4 of this Grand Prix, as now Astra John is now starting to find some pace as well in that second Mercedes. There he is, and you might have been able to see him then, but my goodness me, as LB is through and in 14th position again, past Luke, who's had a terrible start, and I think that Luke's been driving around with a wing missing on the with an end plate missing there. As look at this, Jenna is all over the gearbox. Oh goodness me, and sideways going down at the Wellington Straight there. So we can already see a bit of a darker line forming on the racing line, and on the inside goes Jenna into Birklands, but a lot more skill than me, because I ended up in the wall when I was last going through there as well. As Nosey, Kean and Jinner have already caught up there, about 1.5 seconds away from Ashton at the moment. Whilst I've been waffling on about the glory years of Formula 1, goodness gracious me, back in my day. But at the moment, Craig Hart, Jenner, goodness gracious me. How, sir? I think I would have been up in the bush after that, and probably would have needed a new pair of pants, but Jenner carries on his way. But he's pushing. Is he pushed a bit too hard at this stage then? Of course, these wet tyres, these wet Pirelli tyres are not the best in the world, are they? As of course that we've heard Pierre Gasly mention over the years of how rubbish they are, and I think Verstappen has also mentioned the same as well. But let's see how the ALR drivers do. They've also got, unless you can restart and join them back in time, I had no feedback from the control for the whole race, and Slayer was saying as in vibration. Jenner jumped the start because he saw a giant jump, I reckon, as Kia, not giant. I should have read that part before the final turn there. So just catch up with the comments and OMG, no way to. Told you KC and Marskis are the ones to watch then. Slayer is saying they are flying at the moment. They really are indeed. The Marsky third, Jenner in 5th position. We've got a lot of swapping of positions there. Jenner is through and passes Vintage, and now we have got Kian going through as well. Contact between the two cars, but just a bit of a Glasgow kiss said as we go into turn 1, as Kian there backs out then, and Vintage keeps that position there. So Swan Shanks is lost out to, goodness me, that is a bit of jumping over the curbs there for Swan Shanks. Luke is up into 50th position there. Let's take a look at the Aston Martin. Has he got wing damage there? No, we're not going to look. Well, it looks like he hasn't, to be honest. Someone else got wing damage out there. Up the inside goes Sick as Mark, I think, and that's Dynamo Dan at 4 positions now, 3 positions. And who is that? That's the 2 McLarens in the background as well, coming to blows, are they? They're very close. And Duncan Dave is up in the 12th position. Swan Shanks and Ashton also fighting as well. Oh my goodness me! There is going to be an almighty shunt. There is a shunt there, and that's a horrific shunt on the Oldham pit straight. 3 into 1 potentially would have gone in the dry, but in the wet, that is not ideal. Swan Shanks may have got. Has he got damage? Swan Shanks. He looks all right. I think Ashton's going to have damage though, because he He went to the wall quite heavily, Ashton did. And look, yes, the wing is damaged on the Williams car. What about Jinner? Jinner is also damaged as well in the Haas car. That is a lot of damage for Jinner. Oh, contact, and Sigersmuck is out of the race. What's happened there? And goodness me. And there's action. It's a VSC. Duncan Davis recovering, but we just seen the end of that. It's carnage here in Silverstone. A lot of incidents all of a sudden. It's a VSC that there's debris all over the circuit. Oh my goodness gracious me. As Sarah said, what are they thinking then? Wow. Also, hopefully my Marsky prediction comes through and Astro does well as well. And so we've got one of the longest pit lanes in Formula 1 in terms of time loss. But Duncan Davis got a 10-second penalty. Well, to be honest, he was crawling coming into the pits there. I'll take the free pit stop, Sarah's saying then. And a lot of drivers are taking that free pit stop now. Dan, that's the championship leader who's got a drive-through penalty. And who's out on the outside? It's Serious Mushroom's making contact there, and Stars has got a 3-second penalty. Mushroom's gone from second to fourth here. Oh my god. Oh, contact again, and the Mushroom is being forced wide there by the Aston Martin. And Jennings and Mushroom now going side by side. That's where we had the incident last lap there, and that's where it really started to become anarchy in the last lap as well. As they're changing lines, and Serious Mushroom's dropped back. As I'm not sure if Craig had a difficult start then, but he was very much on the back foot. Stars got a 3-second penalty and all that fracas. Dan, just like Kian, just like Jinner, potentially two drivers that's going to be gunning for his championship lead, has not got a drive-through penalty then. Goodness gracious me. Goodness gosh, incredible stuff. What on earth is happening right now? Depending on how long the wets can go, says Slayer. Very interesting. Swanson's got a 3-second penalty. Very interesting indeed there. I don't think the wets can go all the way through. I think we've got a pit stop at the very least here. We're going to be able to go into intermediate tyres? Not at this moment. Look at how big the raindrops are from that Rocket League's point of view. It's absolutely appalling conditions out there. Lap 6 and Bronze has gone at oh, what's happened? And I was looking down, I've looked back up, and there's Rocket League, did he make a mistake then, or was that contact? Astro's having a fourth position. So, and is that damage to Serious Mushroom? Oh my goodness gracious me. Dare I look down? I don't want to look down anymore because I keep missing things then. As Rocket Lee, I think I'm not sure if he had a helping hand or not. On board Mushroom, as both Williams is now, and that's damage. That's major damage there to Serious Mushroom, unfortunately. As we go down the hill once again, as we go down the Wellington Straight once again, we was on board with Rocket League, wasn't we? Did we get a bit of a bash up the old rear posterior then potentially? But that has now strung. That's now strung this top runners out. Then just taking a quick look then. So on board of Rocket Leader, as I have a look, he got a bit of the curb there. It's very precarious, and out of the final turn as well. Oh, look, I think he half spun, and then I think that he got a nudge up the rear, and that kind of finished him off. Unfortunately, that's such a shame. That bronze is bronze for sure. Then Stephen said, "How much action can you keep? Up the old stat book updated, Sean?" Then, to be honest, I've got to rewatch this race. I think that I apologise as well, Stephen. I completely butchered your comment there. Oh my word, I always butcher the English language anyway. Duncan Davis back in the pits here. My goodness gracious me. But I got to say, I think the stat book, Anthony, Stephen, is going to basically been thrown to the wayside here because, my word, then it's very difficult to even talk about the stats. It's the rain started to ease off here. Craig is into the pits as Mushroom, so only on lap 8, Mushroom's into the pits. Marsky is at the fast of the race then, and I was thinking that the rain might have eased off ever so slightly as of course. So Serious Mushroom into the pits. We'll take a look at the top. There's intermediate tyres, and unbeknownst to me, there's some intermediate tyres that has gone on Luke, Kian, Jinner, and of course Duncan Dave. Ashton has stayed on the wet tyres. Let's see what the intermediate tyres are doing. Serious Mushroom has stayed on the wet tyres there. We were saying that possibly that we're going to have stops anyway. Serious Mushroom, then that's such a shameful Mushroom because he was in the hunt for this Grand Prix win, I feel. But now it's Marsky and Craig R. Marsky is a 3-time Grand Prix winner in bronze. Craig R has never won a race in bronze before. Kian has set the fast lap racer. That to me is intermediate tyres. tar territory surely now. So the front runners are going to have, I'm sure that the front runners are going to be getting the calls from the pits, asking them to potentially think about the intermediate tires. But the question is that they've got to extend this stint, I feel. If they extend this stint, then I say, it's easy for me to say, if they extend this stint to around lap 13, 14, the intermediate tires should get to the end. The intermediate tires, like the wet tires, and they can go off it. Too wet for Inters at the moment, Knowlesy is saying there. So so maybe Knowlesy 6 mark out of the Grand Prix, unfortunately. I don't know why I just caught up with that. Then, of course, we see him go off at Stoke Corner a few laps ago there. So Knowlesy thinks it's too wet for the intermediate tires, but look at that then. We can see a bit of a tram line forming now in Marski's wake then, as we're just going to look at the Dons, who is driving spectacularly for the McLaren team. Dan took his drive-through penalty whilst all that shenanigans is going on. Oh, not Knowlesy is saying this. I think that comment came in just as the fastest lap came on. But maybe it's the fresh intermediate tyres, potentially. Remember, Knowlesy has a love-hate relationship with the old wet weather, doesn't he, there, of course? The wet weather, of course, came at the wrong time in the Austrian Grand Prix, which cost Knowlesy the win in Season 1 and 2 of Austria, which I know that he is very happy for me to remind everyone. I do love reminding everyone of their more troublesome... As that's a McLaren off, and that's Duncan Dave, and Duncan Dave getting a 10-second penalty for getting out of the way. That's thank you very much, Codemasters. Duncan Dave trying to get out of the way and gets a penalty for it. So pit stops, and Dynamo Dan is coming into the pits. Serious Mushroom may have made a mistake here by not going out on the intermediate tyres, but I've got to say it was borderline, wasn't it? Jenner setting up fast out the race. Jenner is flying, and absolutely, and Serious Mushroom's got past Vintage up into a length position, or has he? Because look at that, then they're fighting, going through the loop as well, and Serious Mushroom on the outside. He's done it there, almost off the circuit there, and Vintage has had to yield there at that stage of back in the front, the top three. No, it's the top four, because look, Astra is back in this battle as well. Look at them all there. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars are in the row. Rocket League not too far back even after that misdemeanor in the final turn into Cops Corner. I must say this is going to get very hairy, I think, in the end of this Grand Prix. Is everyone going to blink and come in? No. None of everyone is saying, oh, goodness me, and Astra John having a look at the inside. Yes, he's done it, and going through as well, squeezing Janet onto the inside corner. Oh my word! How are they keeping these? Oh my gosh! I thought he was going to have a Kobayashi accident there, but Janet just about kept along there. I think that was in practice, didn't it? Oh, it's into the pits comes Stars. I think that was... Oh, no! And Stars has got a 10-second penalty as well. It doesn't rain, but it pours for the Haas team. That is a put as well. I am ashamed. But unfortunately for the Haas team, they are going to be ashamed as well with drive-through penalties, 10-second penalties as well. Not ideal. Look, there's cars all over the show here. Luke is now up into 12th position. Dan is up into 9th. Dan, unfortunately, getting a drive-through penalty. He's still on the wet tyres, and this is one of the lower runners on the wet tyres as well. Not ideal for the championship leader. Why has Mushroom gone wet then? Ultimate Beast saying, I think it was just about the crossover. I think it was, and I think the Mushroom probably, if it was a couple of seconds later, Mushroom would have gone to the intermediate tyres. Unfortunately for Mushroom, it's a double whammy. Oh, goodness me. It's a double whammy there for Janet. That's incredible, isn't it? I could watch Janet in Marski driving the wet all day. Fantastic stuff indeed there. And look at how much that the rain has eased off here. I don't think Favre is hosting the lobby tonight, is he? But I've got to say, seeing rain coming from the sky, you always think that it is going to be Favre at the end of the hosting lobby. Jenner has got past teammate Hungry Styles then. So Kia now up in the 12th position is actually the second runner on the intermediate tyres at this moment in time then. Dan just wanted to hold out for the Inters, says Matthew there. As into the pits comes Jennett then, as Craig R still leads the way, Marsky and Astra John then. And now is Jennett then going for the undercut here, lap 12 of this race, and of course the undercut is quite powerful around here in the dry. What about in the wet then? Of course it's a very different kettle of fish in the wet, isn't there? Because there is water all over it then. It's intermediate conditions now. Don's getting a penalty as well. That's going going to be hurtful for Don and the Dons. Same with Hungry Stars as well. That's such a shame for both drivers, because now it's going to be costly, I think, in the final running order here, because both drivers are very much in the mix of potentially some big points set here. Then sorry to whoever I collected my rally moves there, says Matthew as well. Do not worry about that, my good sir. As Jenner said, no fast out the race, Jenner is blistering, but hopefully it doesn't blister those intermediate tires. Don't worry about that, my good sir. It's difficult conditions out there as well. It's easy for me to say, because Matthew didn't collect me, did he? Oh dear. Who's Rocket Lee then? Is he gaining on this front trio here? Not potentially. So Jenner is now out in 7th position. He's got a clear bit of track. Well, he's got Albie just in front of him, but after Albie, there's a 15-second gap, and that is perfect for Jenner to really put his toe down now and really put on some fastest laps there to really home in on these guys. Look at how much that the rain has eased off here. I reckon we could be on dry tires before in this race. We're not even at half distance yet, and the weather is completely changed, hasn't it? Any of the front runners coming in the pits? No, they've all stayed out here. So they've all stayed out. Janet has gone through, and look at that. That dry line is getting ever more apparent here, and you can see it down the hanger straight as well. I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that it would be on dry tires, as everyone is probably yelling at me in the comments. That is foolish, Sean. It is foolish going to dry tires at the moment, but I think that later on, can anyone go from the wet straight to the dries? I must say that is a almighty task, as Astro John is through up into 2nd position and as absolutely driving superbly well. We could have that same Mercedes car like we did in Austria going for a second place in a row after Slayer's incredible run in Austria then. Going back to the tyre strategy out there, I do feel that going straight from wet to dry tyres, unless it's Monaco and a unique circuit like that I don't think you're going to lose too much time, surely. But of course, I have been wrong before, and potentially we could, let's see how it plays out. And also remember as well, I don't think the intermediate yellow flag, one of the Royal Vintage is off the circuit there and going off a long way as well. That's at Stowe Corner, back on the circuit now. Vintage, that's new intermediate tyres. So I think the Vintage is just trying to just to make sure he gets the right land to sea ratio there on those intermediate tyres. More shallower grooves than compared to the wet tyres. You got to adapt your strategy, adapt your driving style ever so slightly. Marsky is dropping back now. I wonder if Marsky is thinking that this is the time then. Rocket Lee is now about 3 seconds away then, but I think he's gaining more on his teammate rather than the front two. Craig R has led this race virtually from the get-go, but it's been incredible ever since then. The front two stay out into the pits, comes Marsky then. Let's see where Marsky comes out. Make sure he doesn't get a penalty there for speeding the pit lane. That has been costly so far in this Grand Prix, and it's going to be costly, I think, for Hungry Stars and for Donna Dons, who are driving superbly well and potentially is shooting for maybe driver of the day. It's going to be very difficult to get driver of the day from here. Kian and Jenner was our two drivers on the front row. Kian goes for his 4th Grand Prix win in a row, but I think that coming from the back of the grid, that's going to be very difficult to do indeed. And I forgot to put my beer stuff on, which is annoying. Albie as well. That's such a shame there. 3 drivers who is having an outstanding race have all made huge mistakes here, and that is costing indeed. Jenner is through already. He has got 2 lap older tyres compared to Marsky. Is that going to be crucial in the final stage of this Grand Prix? Jenner is setting up fast out the race. Kian's now coming up to the back of Luke, who Jenner is not too far behind either, but another another triple magenta sector there from Jenner as well. You can see Jenner is pushing here, but Jenner, Luke and Kian have been on these tires for the longest out of anyone out there, so that could be this could be a problem later on then. No DRS of course then, so you're going to have to catch and pass old school then. Into the must now. Slayer is saying that if it goes from wet to soft, it will lose too much staying out on wet tyres. Yeah, I think that we've only ever had that once or twice in F1 history, and I remember Hamilton doing it in the 2016 Monaco Grand Prix. And I'm sure that only worked because Red Bull decided they was on vacation rather than trying to service a pit stop for Danny Ricciardo. So I don't think that's possibly the best way to go. I'll be surprised, and I am thinking as Craig are in the pits now, as is Ashton. I wonder if they're all waiting to see if they can just make sure they get these intermediate tyres to an end at a decent and raceable condition. That's my hunch then, in a way. Probably a wild hunch then, but a hunch nonetheless. And as Craig R, who all the top 4 are in the pits. Then I think that Jenna's going to take the lead quite easily here. It's a long pit lane, then out of the final turn. Jenna doing a bit of rally cross there. Fast up at the Grand Prix as well. You get a point for fast up wherever you finish as well. Up into turn 1 then. Jenna leads. Craig R is dropped down to second. Astra third. Rocket Lee in 4th position. Smithfield Mighty in 5th position. Where's Marsky? Marsky is out in front of Craig R. That's crucial. He's done it. Yes. That's 1 lap there, and Jinner is faster still. Goodness gracious me. Jinner is absolutely flying out there. As look at this, and Luke and Kian now fighting for 6th and 7th position. I have my doubts that the intermediate tyres are on them. Luke, Kian and Jinner can go to the end, but I must say that's going to be a very interesting dynamic in this race. Jinner is out behind at Smithfield Mighty, and Kian's now got a rear gunner in the form of his teammate as well. Smithfield Mighty, a 3-time Grand Prix winner. Kian, a 4-time Grand Prix winner-ish now, or probably even 5-time. I need to get me stat book out, but unfortunately I haven't got out of mine. Luke's gone wide in left field. That's an opening there for Kian. It's going to take. He has taken it, and but of course Luke is going to get better momentum. He has got better momentum. We've had a couple of huge shunts here tonight, haven't we? But only one retirement, which is Sickers Muck, who is going to be very disappointed that Sickers Muck is unfortunately in the kick salver. The second kick salver making their full-time debut tonight is Albie, currently in 12th position there, but like Hungry Styles in front of him, both have got major penalties there, which is going to hurt them. Here's Dan drive-through penalty for speed under the VSC, down in 13th position now, and like Serious Musher as well, 2 drivers that potentially was expecting bigger things in this race. Hasn't been the case so far. A lot of drivers now starting to very much condense with each other. This is going to get very interesting indeed. And here's one of the battles then. Jennan 7 seconds up the road then. Let's see how that transpires. Has he done too many laps on those intermediate tyres? Can he get to an end? Can he get to the end at a reasonable speed as well? I think that those are the 2 questions that needs to be answered in this one. Those are the 2 questions that I have no idea how this was going to transpire. Smithfield Mighty is quickening his teammate here. This is going to get interesting for Ferrari. What are Ferrari going to do? Is Smithfield Mighty going to be passing Kian and going and marching on Serious Russian Bets to fast up on the race then? Or is he going to be a rear gunner for Jinner? Kian, of course, is now second in the championship. As it stands, Kian would be dropping back down into third in the championship. As just on board then with Astra once again. Casey Pitt at the right time, but Marsky will have better tyres at the end then. May not have a good enough. I apologise. I got a big heart in the way as well. As for some reason there, I'm just very tired. So I apologise profusely. But yes, Slayer is concerned about the tyre wear, as am I as well. But look at how dry the track is there. So maybe the intermediate tyres will not be needed. Of course, we did mention about 6 laps ago that we could potentially have a dry circuit before the end of this race. We could potentially go onto the slick tyres, which would be very interesting, wouldn't it? But of course, fortune's going to very much favour the brave, I think, in this one. Craig R driving a superior race. I think this is Craig R's best race of his season so far. He is absolutely standing up in the seat of that Red Bull. My goodness gracious me! And we've got Luke Contact and Jinner at the inside. Through he goes, and Kian's going to stickle up the inside to the final few corners. And my goodness gracious me. Out the final turn as well. Contact again then. And Jinner almost into the gravel. Luke's got a 3-second penalty. And I think that there's probably a bit of rage in the crash helmet of Jinner as well tonight. And the same for Kian as well. But Kian is actually up in his 6th position now. But it's a 3-second penalty. Jinner hacksawing away at the wheel. Not going to help his intermediate tyres. But I think that Jinner feels that it could be dry tyres in the not too distant future. Very light rain now with just under 10 laps to go. That is a lot of lappage still here in Silverstone. Luke is getting them. I think Luke is trying to cool those intermediate tyres because look at how dry the track is there. And you can see how hot it is out there now. There's a bit of evaporation there from the circle as well. I'm surprised I even said that word correctly. Luke is all over the show here, and that's what fresh tyres can do to you. Smithfield Mighty has just breezed on the outside, past Luke. Then love this shot here in Cops Corner. There is Kian, there is Smithfield Mighty, through into 7th position there, but Luke is not letting him have it all his own way. It's Jinner there, venturing off the circuit there, and I think that these drivers that are on the very old intermediate tyres that's done 10 laps more will be praying that it'll be dry tyres in the soon then. and I must say it is getting very, very dry indeed. Then, and on the inside goes Astra, and through up into third position. Marsky is just absolutely just gone. He is flying out there now. Look at Rocket Lee. It's also coming into vicinity as well. Look at how dry it is out there. I think we're going to be on dry tyres. Cirrus Mushroom out to 12, finishing in past LB. What could have been a major day for LB, but LB is not having anything. But Mushroom and LB are fighting. Mushroom is through, back up into 12 position. Dan is up into 30 position. LB is dropped down into 14th. He's going up the inside. LB is dives on the inside. Where is Dan going to try and position the car? No, because LB there plants it in the apex. My word, how did they get through that corner? Incredible. But this is not a red letter day for the Alpine of Dan. Teammate Donovan Dan is in 10th position there, but Alpine going to be horrified with how this race has gone. Smithy Almighty now catch up to the back. Jenner is now 2 seconds away from the Ferrari team. He needs to get past Luke Pronto here. Unfortunately, he's not been able to. We'll be drawing up for at least another few laps. Sarah saying that. Is that a few laps too many then? Is that a few laps where it will not be worth it to go onto the dry tyres? The golden rule, as Martin Brundle said, always be on the right tyre at the right time then. And of course, you can really easily gain a pit stop, but this is a long old lap around here then. So whatever decision you make, you've got to live with it for a long time indeed. Craig, someone's bounced across the grass, Alfred, and was that Smithy Almighty? It is Smithy Almighty passing the Ferrari's teammate, and up into 6th position. Kian is dropped down into 7th now, and there's Jenner in the background. They're homing in on Luke. Is he going to go for it? He is up the inside. Jenner goes. Is Luke going to try to go up and under? He can't there because he just hasn't got any grip left, has he? And Luke's in the pits, and he's rolling the dice. I think it's still too wet out there. 3 drivers I mentioned at the start. There's Astra, John, then Marsky and Casey. They're all in the top 3. So Slayer then absolutely knows his drivers in bronze. They're fantastic stuff indeed then. Or Slayer was very much Mystic Meg, and Mystic Megan predicted this, and if that is the case, I want the lottery numbers. Soft tires for Luke. I think it's too early, but however, do not dismiss Luke out, because of course Luke potentially this could be a genius maneuver for the Aston Martin driver. Casey Jenner now 7 seconds on the road there. I don't think Casey Jenner has ever won a bronze race, has he? And we're just keeping on Craig R at the moment. Casey Jenner, I don't think has. Yes, Casey Jenner. No, he hasn't, sorry. In 5th position is the best result that Casey has had in his bronze career. Dan all over the back of LB. He hasn't got past LB at the moment there. Marsky is 2nd. Astra John has also never won a race here. And no, it's Craig R. Today is the day for the underdog drivers, for the drivers that potentially not always at the top of the timing sheets are really very much standing up and taking to this race. Really brilliant stuff indeed there. Look at this. I think it's still too greasy, isn't it? On the racing line, it looks almost dry, doesn't it? It looks almost dry indeed. Look at how light the rain is now. I am expecting DRS in the not too distant future. Astra's got a 3-second penalty. That's crucial on the final stage of this Grand Prix. Luke is losing out. He's lost about another second to Dan. Unfortunately, the lottery number is 6, 15, 24, 25, 37 and 45. Laugh out loud from Slayer. If that is the case, and if I don't... Whoa! We got to battle down the hanger straight here. If Slayer has got those lottery numbers right, I'm going to be kicking myself, as LB really squeezing Dynamo Dan there, and Dan probably getting very frustrated indeed. Jinner's in the pits as well. Also on the... I think that he'll be going for the soft tyre as well. I think it's a gamble for Jinner, but I do feel that that's possibly... It's an unnecessary risk there. Well, they're both on very old intermediate tyres. That's about 13 laps there. Kian is struggling. Dynamo Dan is about 5 seconds away at the moment, isn't he? Let's take stock. We're on lap 20 out of 26. 6 laps to go. Rain is still falling here. I think it's still intermediate tyre condition at the moment. Only one retirement in this barnstorming Grand Prix. Is this the best race of the season so far? I enjoyed it. Always LB all over the show there. I've certainly enjoyed it. It's been a cracking Grand Prix. It really has indeed that. And goodness me, it's only 8:30 in the UK as well, which means that I can have a lot of beauty sleep tonight, unless I get caught down the old TikTok rabbit hole. Jennett leads by 6 seconds from Marsky in second position. Third is Astra John. Fourth is Craigar, who's all over the gearbox of Astra John. He has a 3-second penalty, Astra John does, so Craigar could potentially be in course for the podium positions. If they stay as they are at the moment, then nope, wait a minute, because they're actually going to be side by side into the final couple of turns. Just on board now. Imagine if Lee never has spun in that last corner, he would have been potentially up in the second then. Yeah, you know, that's such a shame, isn't that? So keeping on Jinder as well. He's about 9 seconds away from Dan. We'll see if that's enough. Well, he's gaining actually. Jinder is on Dan. We're keeping on that. Yeah, I think the Rocket Lee potentially be in second there, and certainly I don't think Jennett would have it so easy at the front then, would he, at this stage of the race then? Coming out of the loop then. So Jinder's quicker than Dan at certain parts of the circuit. Another part of the circuit, he's losing a couple of tenths of a second there. So it's not quite there just yet. But the question is then, is it just too long then? Marsky, there he is, at about 2 seconds up the road. I thought Astra John was gone then. And then Craigar could have gone off in sympathy as well. My word. Over the shoulder here then from Craigar. Of course, he is looking in third position and he does not need to overtake the Mercedes car. But of course, if he overtakes the Mercedes car, he potentially could have a go at Marsky as well. He has got 1 lap younger tyres than Marsky, but Marsky, as Slayer has mentioned in the comments tonight, has been a very quick cookie indeed in the wet. So, where did we get to when I was taking stock? I can't remember now. We've got a bit of sunshine there. We've got a bit of sunshine over yonder at the moment, haven't we? So, Jennett leads, second Marsky, Astra third, Craigar fourth, Rocket Lee in fifth position, Smithfield Mighty in sixth, seventh is Kian, eighth is Dynamo Dan, ninth is Stars, Cirrus Mercer in 10th position then. That is the 10-point scoring drivers at the moment. Albie and Dan are fighting tooth and nail for 11th and 12th position. It's getting very fruity between those two drivers. Astra John set the pass over the racer. And we're keeping on these two now. 13th is Jinner, who's on the soft tyres, along with Luke also on soft tyres as well. Both drivers are doing okay, but it's not enough at the moment. The track is still too damp, I feel. Dan is through, but look at this, and Albie, they're diving down, and Dan now, I think there's going to be very frustrated with the with the kicks up. I think Albie did let Dan through there, and maybe that might have been a step too far. Starts into the pits now, and I think that might be dry tyres going on the Haas car. In 13th position, Jinner, Luke in 14th. Both drivers then, at the moment, it's not working out. Softs and intermediates are nearly equivalent now. Gosh, two big words for me, and I must say, I think I can... equilibrium, is it? That used to be a film, didn't it? Goodness gracious me. But it is very... so by the sound, you look at Jinner, he is catching 4 laps to go. I think that's the gap between... Jinner and Casey is about 49 seconds there, but we are so close. I think we're very close to the dry tyres now. Marsky has lost out somewhere, and Marsky's crawling. What's happened to Marsky? I think, is he on an issue there? Because look, he's lost second position, and now he's going to lose third as well in this race there, because Craigar on the outside into Stowe corner, and he blasts past it. Is Marsky got issues then? Is he run out of rubber? Is there some issues there for Marsky? But he has lost second position, and he has now lost third as well. Oh my goodness gracious me. Casey has lost a lot of time in the last couple of laps. He's now down. He's lost a second in the last lap in the last few laps then. So they are homing in now, isn't they? Casey Jennett is. Yellow flag out there for one of the McLarens. And who is it? It is I think it's Duncan Day for having a horrific day, but hats off to Duncan Day for keeping on with it. Boki Volcano for points finishing there. Of course, Boki Volcano was the Rainmaster in Colbo back in the years there. Of course, Liam, was actually was the admin, I think, for Colbo. Was part-time and bronze as well. Goodness gracious me, time flies when you're having fun. Ooh, there's a Mercedes not having fun now. Who is that? Is that Swanshanks off the circuit, lap 23 out of 26, and this could be a grandstand finish. Jinner is flying up there. The gap is now down to 6 seconds for himself and LB, but at this moment, no, he is still not gaining enough on the drivers in front. And Jinner might be able to squeeze some points in here, but I don't think it's going to be anything more than. Marv got no penalties though. Slayer is saying that Marsky hasn't, and he'll be a de facto third as it stands. We're back on board with Marsky. No DRS has been enabled just yet, unless I completely missed that, which is quite a high probability. Jennett, the gap is down to, look at that, the gap is coming down, hand over fist, look, There's the Aston Martin. There's Astra John. There's Craigar. There's Marsky. Swanshanks onto the Grand Prix. That's all second retirement. Then we've got the 2 RBs. Oh my goodness me. 4 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. And who's in the pits there? I think there's a McLaren in the pits. Is there? There's also it's also Swanshanks in the pits as well. I think the Swanshanks has crashed. I think he has. He's crashed coming in the pits there. Well, something's gone wrong with that Mercedes. Anyway, it doesn't look too healthy, unfortunately. Rocket Lee has set the fast out of the race. He's also blistered at 24, 25, 26, 4.1 seconds. The gap is now. There is Jenna then, who's drove a superlative race, but is it a stretch too far for the intermediate tires? Have they fallen apart now? What can the drivers behind him do? The gap is coming down so quickly now, and it is, look, 3 laps to go. He needs over a second a lap, Astra John, is to win this Grand Prix and that'll be his first Grand Prix win as well. Astra John and Jenna and Craigar have never won a Grand Prix in bronze before, but he is absolutely flying. But Astra John's got to pass and get 3 seconds up the road. That is his task at the moment. Rocket Lee is flying. I'm not sure what's happened to Marsky, but I think he's lost a lot of confidence. And look, Marsky's pulling over. Issues for Marsky. Oh my goodness gracious me, there's no damage by the looks of things. Haas is off, and there's a Haas off, and look at that, it is Styles sent off the circuit. Still very greasy out there. Only 4 drivers on the dry tyres as we come down the hang straight. There they are. First, second, third, you'll see 4th. There is 4th position. 5th position of Marsky, just flicking it through as well as we come to the second to last lap. Jenner is through and up into 11th position. That's when the Haas cars of Styles recovering as well. Jenner could potentially get some points here because he is the quicker than all the green marked intermediate tires. Yellow flag, and Styles has gone off in a big way. Grosjean crashed there as well, and back in 2018. Astra John is set the fastest lap for the race, and Jenner has lost out as well. Jenner's off the circuit at Cops Corner, and I must say that it is so close to dry tyres, but it's not enough. But Styles is on the track now, 2.1 seconds. He's out catching over a second a lap here. Astra John is. Oh my goodness, gracious me. Casey's losing grip on the intermediate tyre zone, but he's done enough just to keep it clean. It'll be close, but Casey's built enough of a buffer as the gap is 2.3 seconds there. Astra John, remember, has got a 3-second penalty. Styles is off the circuit. Into the pits comes Serious Mushroom on lap 25 out of 26 here. There's Jenna then, who's getting a very Larry out of left field here. And look at this. On this lap, though, Jenna is Jennett is actually matching Astra John, which is what Slayer said, and it's exactly what he needs to do, and it is what he's doing now. Jennett is a yellow flag said. That's the Haas is having a nightmare end to this Grand Prix of Styles, which could have promised so much, but delivered little here. Down to 1.7 seconds there with just 1 lap to go. Astra John needed an absolute barnstorming of a finish here on that lap. DRS has been enabled. Can he get in DRS now for Astra John? Who else in DRS? Serious Merchant in DRS of Luke, who's in 12th position. Jenner 6 seconds back. I think it might be too much there. Oh my goodness gracious me. Out of the final turn there, the penalty situation. That final lap of this incredible British Grand Prix that we're literally running on a dry track. That so as it stands, Astra John is going to finish 3rd. Craigar is just about within that 3-second window. Craigar, I think's best result is 4th position. Craigar has never finished on the podium. I think he did 1 race, but then was demoted down to 4th position. Craigar, Smithy, Dynamo Danforth, driver of the day. Throw that into the comments as well. Then down the back straight, I must say that if Astra John and Casey should also be in driver today as well, but they are reserve drivers, otherwise they would have definitely been a shoe-in as well. Yellow flag then when the McLarens has gone off fed. Luke and Jenner have also swapped positions and out of left field. The gap is almost under a second, but I think it's too little too late unless Jenner's tyres completely fall off the cliff. Now we're on board with the Grand Prix leader now. But where's Casey for driver today? Astra closed 0.9 of a second there. The reserve drivers do not get drive of the day, unfortunately, but otherwise, Astra and Casey will both be up there for drive of the day as well. Yellow flag, and who's that? Oh, Rocket Lee's off the circuit! Oh no! What a performance for Rocket Lee! And he's gone off at Cobb's corner. That is heartbreaking for Rocket Lee. Oh my goodness gracious me! Down the hanger straight then for the 26th and final time. What a race this has been then. This has been an absolute barnstorming of a race then. And this is only half time in bronze then. Out of the final turn then. And Casey Jennett across the line to win his first race of his career. He wins the British Grand Prix. Half time here in bronze. Fantastic. Craig R is second, is best result of his career as well. But Jennett punches the air for the Aston Martin team. Wow. Incredible stuff indeed. Then Craig R second, 4 seconds away, with Astra just about 2/10 of a second away. Marsky and Rocket Lee fourth and fifth. I think they'll be happy with that. Rocket Smith Almighty just under a 10th of a second away in sixth, with Kian seventh, Dynamo Dan eighth. Dan has recovered to ninth. A horror show for the championship leader today. Duncan Dave getting points for McLaren again. That is important for the McLaren team there. What a hats off to Duncan Dave. He probably deserves a shout out as well, because I must go, being a driver, being a lap down and still going with it is fantastic. Fantastic hustle there. Unfortunately, as someone off the circuit again, then, as it's a bit of a Spheres Mushroom there getting into the top 10 then. As just watching Astra there getting, sorry, not Astra, Aston in 15th position as well. Casey Jennett then, get in, is what, of course, he didn't say that. I'll paraphrase that, but Jennett is overjoyed with this result. And why wouldn't he be? That was a great race. Yes, that was a fantastic Grand Prix in bronze. I think that's the best race of the season for me, personally. And oh, when Farf is not here, then goodness gracious me. It says something, doesn't it? Absolutely incredible stuff indeed. Then mega job there, Slayer is saying. Then for RBs, Ferraris and Alpines in succession there. Great job by them. Serious Russian, yeah, Casey is special. It's punching the air then and taking his first Grand Prix win. Craig R, yes, I'll take, yes, come on, I'll take that, you dancer. Brilliant stuff indeed then for Craig R. Of course, Craig R's best result of his bronze career. Potentially, on a different day in history, Craig R would have won that, I think, then. Absolutely mega stuff indeed then. Let's take a final look at the classification, shall we, from the British Grand Prix. We've had all seasons here tonight. Jennett, his first Grand Prix win of his career. What a race it was there for Jennett. Second position, Craig R's best result of his career for Craig R. 4 seconds away at the end. Astra John getting a 3-second penalty, but a brilliant drive to third. Marsky in fourth position there. That's, I think he's retaken second position in the championship. No, he hasn't. Fifth is Rocket Lee. It could have been fourth for Rocket Lee. He'd be disappointed at that. Smithy Almighty in sixth position there. Seventh is Kian. That jump start really cost Kian there today and took him out of the battle straight from the get-go, but a great recovery. Dynamo Dan in 8th position there. Dan in 9th. Dan also had a drive-through penalty for a spin under the VSC. Serious Mushroom recovered to 10th position, but a mistake, an extra stop there for Serious Mushroom. 2 extra stops for Serious Mushroom cost him dearly. LB 11th on his there for Kick Sauber. Don the Don's Luke. Gin a drive-through penalty as well. Astra Army 15th. Vintage Stars Duncan Dave completing the classification, and is Swanshanks and Sick as Mug outside there, retired from this Grand Prix. Hi, I got me sound working 1 second. Oof, my goodness me. And, I think we're going to have a very happy Craig R in the comments as well, because Craig R has finished on the podium for the first time in his career. But not only that, what a drive as well, Craig R. But are you happy or disappointed with this result? Because you was leading the race for a lot in that opening stages there.
I mean, I think P2 is good, but I would have liked, first, obviously. But I made a mistake, no pitting earlier for the others, but we'll live and learn.
Do you feel that, but when you said you made a mistake, then did you, because Jennett came out about 6 seconds in front of you, do you feel then if you went in the pits maybe a lap before, you could have won this race?
Oh yeah, I was confident enough that I was just gonna, not fly away with it, but just win that.
But on the positive, a second position today. I'm surprised that that's your first podium in the season. I think you did finish in the top three earlier on in the season, but I think someone got a penalty rescinded. But I'm surprised that this is the first podium because right from the get-go in Bahrain, you had incredible pace in that Red Bull. You've been superb this season. I think that I must say that you seem to be enjoying bronze much more than silver.
I feel like I'm doing better. I can actually feel like what I'm doing with the car as well. It's a lot easier to drive compared to last season. It's just a nightmare. But I'm having a lot more fun compared to last season.
And now you've got your first podium. Then, so the next stage in your bronze career this season has to be the win, doesn't it? We're halfway through the championship. Do you think you can muster up a championship challenge to Kian and Dan down in front of you?
Only time will tell. I'm hoping for the best. Worst comes to worst, I finish top five. I mean,
And with the races coming up, we've got Hungary, we've got Spa, we got the Dutch Grand Prix, we've got Monza as well. And there's a lot of classic circuits coming up, just like this one. How are you feeling then for those next races? Do you think you can get a win out of any of those?
I'll go and get a try, but I'm not making any promises.
To be honest, if you did make a promise, I'll be quoting you as well. But and of course, for the remainder of the season, then, and what is your aspiration? Then you did say top five. Do you think you can sneak back into silver, or would you rather stay in bronze and then maybe challenge for the championship for next season?
No, I'm muck way up the ranks, back into silver, and go for there.
I absolutely love that. That's fantastic. And talking about the race today, then, because I was talking all about maybe going through into the future. But what about today? We had all seasons, and it was absolutely appalling conditions at the beginning. And then we went to intermediates. Then we went to almost to slicks in the end. There. How difficult was the conditions on the opening stage of that race? It looked like you were so comfortable though when it was heavy rain. Would you have preferred it to stay heavy rain all the way through the race?
I was actually going to say that. I feel like I had more grip in the wet compared to the inters. It just felt a lot better, but it was good. It made a difference.
It certainly did then. And of course, towards the end as well, of course, you sit in front of you. Astra John had a penalty. How much was you focused on that, or was you focusing on potentially stealing the win off of maybe Casey, knowing that his tires was like several laps older than yours?
No, I think my idea was just to keep within the time penalty zone where I can just get ahead. That way we finished. I'm in P2, but I was just trying to keep in the range of the car in front. That was that.
And you've certainly done that well done today, Craig. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then for Hungary, then do you think that you can get a win there?
I'm not too sure, but I'll get a try.
That's what we love to hear. Well done today, Craig. Are your second position today, and the sky is the limit now. Brilliant stuff indeed, and hopefully you keep this podium as well, because I think he was unlucky last time. Well done, Craig. Brilliant drive indeed today, and also driver of the day as well by 71% of the vote. Fantastic. And that's going to be it then for bronze tonight then, and I think we have got 100% tomorrow. We are in Hungary. I'm not looking forward to that at all. It's going to be painful. Hopefully, Mushroom has got me a setup. Otherwise, I am in. I am in for it tomorrow. Alex will be taking you through the 100% tomorrow. Then I'll be back in Hungary for the gold on Sunday. Cannot wait for that. We'll see you then. Goodbye.